Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intel Gamer Days Valorant Community Cup as we are now back with the last two stages for at least the first initial half, which is going to be the upper bracket finals, ladies and gentlemen, plus the lower bracket finals to see exactly which two teams are going to be headed straight on down over to the grand final stage. It's going to be your boy Aggressive with Oro on my side to bring you all the action for this first initial game, ladies and gentlemen. With 3 lakh INR on the line, the winner's getting 2 and the runners-up getting 1. There is no third place position, so either you take this win for yourselves or you're out of it all. With the format being absolutely grueling for each and every single one of these teams, with the qualifier stages, the playoffs, and now soon enough the grand final, every single one of these 4 teams know that their stakes and of course this prize pool is on the line.
Definitely, it's going to be a cracker-jacker of a game, right? Like GANGAN Galaxy and Team Chilcord both are just ready for the matchup because this is the winners bracket, right? Both the teams are coming up with a winning run and have convincingly beaten their opponents. So this is the map veto for the current time being, which we will see in this best of 3 series. The first pick has come from Chilcord side and they have picked Corrode. Okay, it's interesting. The Chilcord is continuously going to pick up Corrode. We have seen this in the upper bracket semi-finals, number 1 aggressive, and they were up against Rat Syndicate and they decimated them. They had no clue what Chilcord was doing on that map.
Yeah, that's not big of a surprise because a lot of these professional teams, at least the ones that are actively scrimming in the background, are always going to be picking up Corrode for this very specific reason. It's that X factor that most teams have yet to really figure out. But on the side of Chilcord, they really do love to play for those kind of strategies. It seems the GANGAN Galaxy going in for pretty much a very similar setup to what they did previously with Homeboy, as well picking up the deadlock in this particular instance. Double sentinel compositions are pretty strong and potent on this particular map, especially with the chamber finding a lot of value in a lot of these different instances, because the chamber TP now being a little bit larger, plus with the fact that you can play that tripwire play the chamber trip, the trademark almost anywhere across the entire map, and the chamber does have that freedom of movement compared to what he did before. So a lot of these teams have started to figure out that having that chamber as that secondary duelist just allows you to play a lot more aggressively than what you could before. But that's where the real problems start to show, right? Because you became a little bit telegraphed that, hey, they will be playing aggressive. The chamber will be trying to take a lot more of those aggressive fights. But as soon as you get that to the force online, as soon as you get an operator in his hands on the defensive side, it just becomes a duel of whether or not the chamber is going to be able to find that fight, find value, or will he falter. Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum, you do see that the Euro is going to get picked up. And Venka, he's an absolute treat to watch on that Euro. He knows how to find value. He knows how to utilize the dimensional drift to give his teammates enough information to play off of. So it's two sides of the spectrum. One, you have to get kills. On the opposite side, you need to set up your team properly because you're taking that role of that pseudo initiator.
Yeah, true, correct. That is for sure aggressive. And one thing that I have seen is Kohli has changed his agent. Last time I saw him on Corrode, he was playing a breach and he was struggling. And of course, see, as long as your team is winning, I think you might somewhat get saved. But then at the end of the day, if the scoreboard shows 5 frags only after the game has ended, it becomes a concern because I'm definitely sure about the fact that the IGL must have bashed the mistakes what each and every individual have made on the map, because when there are chances to make yourself better, even if you're winning, doesn't matter, because the initial goal for every team is to become the best in the country. Then you move forward ahead in the international, right? And looking at the standards of what Chilcord and the players and the individuals have, so of course they would want themselves to represent the country once again and do it as long as they are playing through. So they need to follow things up with performances. So Kohli has changed up to Vice now. I'm pretty interested to see how he manages on that Sentinel. Now, see, I'm also agreeing with the fact that Chamber is a must required thing now. And with the double Sentinel meta, I think you can layer your setups with the Deadlock and the Vice, and also with a Chamber. With now the trademark, you can place it anywhere on the map. There are some buffs which has been given to that agent. So yeah, that is something interesting which will come up. But this is something I am looking forward to, right, Aggressive, at this point of time in this game.
Absolutely. Gonna need to see where this is gonna go, ladies and gentlemen, especially when you consider that Corrode is a map that just awards creativity and of course the
Yeah.
team play and synergy that we all know and love to see. One of the bigger problems that I do believe that GANGAN Galaxy will be facing is that Viper mid control is going to be very difficult for them when they're on the attack and also on the defense. The Viper just cuts the entire map in half. And mid being
Correct.
such a prominent presence for going in for different executes, especially when you're trying to make an entry onto the B side, and also maybe if you want to lurk up towards A, there's a lot of different variables that you need to consider on this particular map. But
Yeah.
then again, it's not really the end of the world per se, but it's also going to be a very difficult one at that if they're not careful in the way that they try to opt for these executions.
Well, true. I mean, GANGAN Galaxy, coming into this game, everybody knows, and even they know that the eyeballs would be on Chilcord because the kind of caliber or the players they have in their lineup. Of course, everybody loves how Venka plays. Everybody loves how Helef uses his brain power. And right, interesting to see as a team, they have been sticking together for a while now, and they have been playing good. They have been performing well. So this is going to be interesting. Like Techno was a super good player last in the upper bracket semi-final. So of course, would be looking forward to him on Corrode as well. But yeah, you were saying that you can be innovative on this map, and it becomes very irritating as well for players while you're playing. Playing this map specifically, because too many wall bangable angles and boxes are there through which you cannot be complacent about your spot. But anyways, all the probabilities and the permutations and combinations are gonna just end here right now, because the game is about to begin. This is where things get spiced up, as Aggressive said. On play stand, look at Venka. Starts off where he left off. Prowler spots his position, but then Ginola is already been dinged. Now, Ginola, my friend, you cannot save yourself. Techno on that Clove is very flexible with those controller agents, right, Aggressive?
Absolutely. And having the Clove on your arsenal, especially when you're going in for a double controller setup, just allows you to play a lot more aggressively. And a lot of teams have started to figure out that, hey, yeah, the Omen is very potent and powerful, but at the same time, if you need that extra bit of firepower, if you need someone to just let it rip and go into the site first, as soon as that Clove ultimate is online, you can do so much more to bring yourself back into any particular game. But Helef now needs to be the first one to take an engagement over from the side. No one's really close on this angle, and Mighty position already revealed. I love that the utilization of the HUD was so well there, and never mind, Venka. This guy just had that inkling feeling. The spidey senses were tingling when it came down to this round.
Yeah.
That's GANGAN Galaxy kind of falling flat on their faces for this one, but not really that surprising now, was it? The way that they took over the mid side, especially with the utilization of that Viper wall, it was very apparent that this was going to happen. But for Chilcord, this was just another round, a flash in the pan pretty much for them. They need to be careful though. Do not get too complacent, because as soon as this chamber comes online on the side of Knight Rider, GANGAN Galaxy, they're going to be up for business.
Knight Rider is waiting, but before he could do anything, Venka again with his outlaw this time. I mean, you need to stop this guy, otherwise, if you just keep giving him the confidence, he will just take things upon himself to or make his motto create problems. At this point of time, they don't have the bias. Most probably they'll wait. Scar on the other end. Okay. Destroys the Vice ability over there. But Scar, he needs to understand the fact that I don't think so he'll expect. There's a player on the corner. Kohli was waiting, of course. Kohli gets a second one. Mighty. Survive surviving solo. Fight was fought for a bit, but then LF was pretty good over there. But at this point of time, this is going to be the most interesting part of the map, where the full buys come in for GANGAN Galaxy and how they want to set things up right now. Because the way Venka has been taking things upon himself and getting those initial frags, he needs to be stopped. So how do you do it, right, aggressive, if you're on GANGAN Galaxy's part?
It's generally dependent on whether or not Knight Rider is going to be able to find an opener or not. A lot of the pressure falls onto him to be that aggressive chamber player and really find value in a couple of these rounds. Scar is going to be on the opposite side though, on that deadlock, to try and create a little bit more of an opening. Ganola, perfect kill over towards the face of Cody. That's going to open things up almost instantly for these engagements. They need to be careful of how they go in for this one though. Scar is going to be beautiful for it. That's going to be DC just immediately getting put down onto the floor. Beautiful shots coming in from their end, and one by one they do fall. They don't have the weapons to take this engagement, and that was very much apparent as every member of GANGAN Galaxy, they tried to be aggressive, but even then, it's just not going to be instantaneous. Mighty just sliding across the floor is going to be able to catch out Venka almost simultaneously. And that is where the beauty of this game lies, ladies and gentlemen. GANGAN Galaxy, they are going to be able to take their own buy round for themselves, and then let's smash it at that. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how they're going to be able to build up this lead that they have gotten now, because they have the economy in their belts. But on the opposite side, Chilcord, they're going to be going in for their own buy round.
This is something which we'll find out in this round, because Chilcord will definitely get their buys. Horn placement has been good, but then that Viper wall saves Knight Rider over there. Orang's position is holding A, but then DC is out there lurking. The question is, would they want to go and opt for A push? Because the spike is rotating again back from attacker spawn towards the A lobby, and they might come towards A, and that is why DC is holding that angle. It's only Gorang who's covering that spot. Kohli. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Knight Rider gets Techno and he comes back. Mighty comes in and gets the vice, that is Kohli. DC also got picked up over there, but then Chilcord couldn't find the spot, but then Venka is still alive. As long as he's alive, you would believe. Chilcord would believe as well. It's Helef and Venka at this point of time. They have the spike. Still thinking, they have only 25 seconds on the clock. I think they would want to go in A and go and plant. Okay, Helef. He might find two, but Venka catch two. Oh my goodness me, Venka is on an ace. He's on an ace. Okay, but ace is not the concern over right now. Venka is gonna fight, but Mighty clutches it for his team. Goodness me. Oh my god. For a second, we thought, of course, GANGAN Galaxy has got it under control. Then Venka comes in with a magical performance with 4K. But then it was Mighty who wanted to answer back Venka that, of course, you might get 4K, but as long as I am alive, I will figure out some way to get the round for my team.
The fact that he had that perfect timing and that adaptable nature too, the immediately pick out that shorty, because everyone was giving the call that Venka was at 1 HP. It's that momentary brilliance that generally players don't talk about, right? And Mighty, being on that same level, that young talent, very similar to Venka, to always find value when it comes down to situations like this. This is what you want to see from a team. This is what you want to see from an upper bracket grand finals. Two teams that are so evenly matched when it comes down to the face of mechanical strength. And Chilcord, they do have the better advantage when it comes down to the set play and, of course, the utility that they bring onto the table, but that doesn't mean that it could just all but be over. No real ultimates in their hands of GANGAN Galaxy to really take this fight, other than, of course, the deadlock ult. But even then, they have to wait and see how much that they can get away with. Chilcord, they're playing for the timing, they're playing for the man advantages, they're trying to make their way towards the side of A-Link here from mid, but none of the other members are playing for an aggressive foothold.
Knight Rider's backstab is spot now. He has to go back towards B lobby, but then Techno, he got the Phantom and took down Scar. A numbers disadvantage and also will allow Chilcord to upgrade their weaponries. Spike has been planted, but Gorang with the TP. Repositioning and got the important pick over there of Kohli. Knight Rider, his position is known though. Sees, oh, didn't get caught. He's in the corners. Helif's position is going to be crucial. Somebody needs to destroy that. Okay. Venka, oh my
What
goodness
a
me.
shot.
Venka, how did he flick that player? He first took down Knight Rider, then Gorang. And of course, Helif was there. Oh, good round. Very good conversion coming in from Chilcord. And we have to remember the fact that DC was the one who got the first pick from top mid.
That was just unfortunate. Poor old Gorong. He was like, oh, my player's there. Knight Rider is going to be able to hold my angle as soon as I TP in. But wasn't really the case immediately as soon as the TP sound came across. That's when Benka knew that, hey, I have my haunt. I have the perfect timing because I'm going to be able to take an isolated 1v1. And Knight Rider is going to need to try and break that haunt in that exact instant. Perfect utilization of the pre-fires. LF being able to go in for that last kill. A little bit risky here. Kohli not really close enough to the angle to make that shorty work, and he's going to get caught out for it. Gorong instead instantly does find that catch, and that's going to open up the entirety of the flank routes as well for the members of GANGAN Galaxy. They can play as aggressively as they want, headhunter bullets in hand if Knight Rider wants to try and take an engagement like that, but no real jiggles whatsoever. Knight Rider, you're just walking up and giving away the man advantage your team worked so hard to get.
Uh-oh. Now DC's cross is gonna be interesting. See, they have come so, they walked in so much. Mighty and okay, DC gets Genola. Genola and Mighty has to be the one because we have seen when GANGAN and Galaxy does well, these are among the highest fragging players or the star players. To be honest, Varang, his position was known. Benka was expecting that corner. Mighty has the overdrive. He has to deal with 4 players other than him. The question is, he doesn't know where the spike is being planted yet. And he might find DC. Exactly. DC finds him and gets the confirmation on him. And this is a pretty good round. Pretty good answer back from Chilcord. Like, the start was good from Chilcord, of course. But then they pulled it back, GANGAN Galaxy. And from the time being, when Chilcord went on that eco, they made sure that they can get the round and the other one as well, and they have done it. Scoreline says 4-2.
Absolutely. These last couple of rounds are getting a little bit too close for comfort. The members of GANGAN Galaxy left in a bit more of a precarious spot, but not really the most impossible now, is it? Svenka now. He's going to be the first one to go in for that line of contact. Already broke through the defensive lines here. Scar, none the wiser for it. Didn't catch him out on the jump spot. And Venka instantly good for the kill. Techno, okay. Good peek and a half coming in from his side for Ganola. None the wiser for it. Mighty down towards mid. He's looking for one more. He does find Kohli, but he takes a bunch of damage in the process. They're not going to be able to go in for a free retake here because their main line of entry was supposed to be Mighty, but on that low HP, he can't really slide in and take an advantageous zoom for himself. Gorong needs to be the opener, missed out on the opportunity. Techno instead brings him back down to earth, down over to a 4v2 situation as GANGAN Galaxy now. Maybe it's just better to go in for a save because this round is very risky.
Which is for sure. Venka picked up Knight Rider now. He can't save the operator. The big gun is out of the picture, which means the economy will take a toll. Mighty, he is running in. Helif has got the sound cue. And then Mighty would be able to save the weaponry. Though DC and Helif is chasing him. It's gonna be difficult. Venka is long away. Yeah, he will be the one with the Phantom. But then, the way things started, I think if you're on a deadlock and if you're playing so aggressive, either you put put your ability and just go back, because there's no point being a sentinel and playing so aggressive if you're not having a backup, right? Aggressive. That just doesn't seem appropriate.
I mean, one of these rounds just really came down to the fact that Deadlock didn't spot out Venka, and Venka beat that timing out so well as well. Scar, I don't think he did a bad play. It's more like Venka's just had that sixth sense to go in for a play like that.
What?
For now, mid push didn't really go in the way that they would have expected. Early on the fight here, Knight Rider holding an angle a little bit too deep for his own good. Catches out Knight Rider. Wait, he was trying to kill the Omen, and somehow Knight Rider was the one to fall that will force now. No longer finding any form of value. This is going to hurt them a little bit here as Mighty's still alive and kicking. No, but he does why the multi-points that he needs. Give it up for Mighty to go in for that ace. Techno shuts him down with, of course, the resurrection in his hand. Still has a little bit of a chance to come back into the round, but Mighty, the guy is now thunderous on towards the server. He still holds down the line, gets the 5k for himself, and the map of Corrode is his playground on this league.
There's always something with the guy who's saving the weaponry, right? It had to be Mighty who saved it, because From the Dead was activated. Not yet dead was activated though. Then he only got 2, but spammed by Ginola. But then Mighty, I mean, he is that kind of a player, who likes to be. Is it fair to call him a flashy kind of a player? Because I find him pretty flashy and pretty attractive when he is on song on that agent. And Neon is that kind of an agent where somebody would want to sit and watch and see that how can somebody make things possible like how he did it, right? And something which GANGAN Galaxy would need more from him, because he's the only one with double digits. Look at the other players, Ginola with 3, everybody on 3 other than him. So everybody just needs to support him and make him those fair plays so that he can go and make those inroads, because if he is set free, he is that kind of a player who can challenge or look Venka in the eye and just challenge him, right? You saw that 1v1 where he clutched it for his team in that 1v2 situation. Now again, with individual.
Wait and see where they're gonna go with this one. Oh,
yeah.
It seems as like. Oh, it seems as though we had a slight bit of a technical hiccup there, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, or what we were saying.
I mean, currently. Oh, okay, Knight Rider got that pick eventually. I was saying that Mighty is one of that player who can look Venka in the eye and challenge him up front.
Absolutely. He's an up-and-coming talent just like Venka. And we always do praise Venka every single time because he is that young talent that just came out of nowhere and really took the entire scene by storm. But Mighty is very similar in that regard. He still has a lot to prove though, because Venka has done it all being in that tier 1 scene. But for Mighty, it's still about making those splashes as often as they possibly can for a lot of these fights. But for now, Chilcord and GANGAN Galaxy, both of them have lost out on 1 player each. But for GANGAN Galaxy, they lost a significant part of their defensive side. Without Ginola here, they're not going to have as much information to really play for as you would have expected.
Oh my god. It's a free entry. He's already in from B link towards B side. He has the information. He knows that somebody is there towards elbow. That Scar. His Gravenet was activated, but Steel Cage came in. And now you have all sorts of problems. The site is up for grabs though. He will catch no one. At least the position is cleared for the time being. Have only from the shadows. Okay, Knight Rider catches Helef. Knight Rider and Gorang are both coming in from B main. This is going to be interesting. They are going to get cramped up for space. How are they going to fight this out? DC gets 1. DC gets the second one as well. DC gets the third one as well. DC just turned things up. And Kohli got the last pick. But DC, man, aggressive. He was the showstopper in that round.
An absolute demon, DC. What was this shot over on the Mighty as well? He tried to run away. He heard the sounds and Mighty went in for the slide dash. Then immediately just went for a slight bit of a spray and catched out Mighty as he was jumping in. Like the fish in the barrel. The man did a perfect cast. And immediately got the reel in that he wanted. Now though, player towards B side once again. Scar needs to be out for contention for this one. Bit of a tough angle, but that doesn't mean that it's all but over for him. Still a chance, still an opportunity yet to be presented as the members of GANGAN Galaxy. Yeah, they do have weaker buys in this particular round, but they have made these weak buys work in multiple different rounds. Chilcord on the opposite side, though, they're just going to be able to run on for free. Ganola, none the wiser for it, and for some reason, he just ran in for free, thinking that there was no one going to be present. Scar, though, on the opposite side, he does find the tap that he needed for his squad. Down over to a 4v4, but Chilcord, they still have the stronger weapons, and the one kill that Scar did get didn't award him with much. And there's no real ultimates to really play for the members of GANGAN Galaxy either. With Ganola falling, they need to go into this retake try.
Oh. Okay, he get stuck on that. Mighty is decayed. He doesn't have the HP. Has a Marshall. He needs to run in. He needs to run in quickly. Doesn't have anyone in close proximity to find something. Gorang gets Venka over there. Then, of course, Helif was in that corner to take down Mighty. Knight Rider, I think he was the only one with that operator and he wanted to save it. I will catch Helif there. Good for one. Then, the scoreline says 7-3. I can understand the fact that, of course, this is a map. I mean, I would like you to answer this, Aggressive. Do you think that this map is more attack favoring? I feel a little different, though. I think
It
it's
is
a little
defense
different.
favored.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, it is defense favored, but if you have a double controller setup, it is very much attack favored. Because one of the strongest points of this map is the mid side, right? Because if you're
Mm-hmm.
running a single controller setup, that mid is just right for the picking for
Correct.
the attackers and all for the defenders. Sorry, because as soon as you can take control of mid, those choke points of entries on the B side and on the A side are very easy to break through because of the amount of pressure that they're creating on that mid side. Because of that one Viper wall, someone needs to always check that particular angle, making the B side and the A side a lot more weaker for these defenders. And that's exactly what the members of Chilcord have been doing for so many of
Oh
these rounds.
no.
They've been
No,
creating
no.
so much pressure on so many of these angles. Poor old Scar. He just can't do anything here. He's already caught out, but maybe the trade's going to be coming in from the opposite side. Ganola and Mighty, they do find the trade-offs for themselves. Take us over to a 3v3 situation. Now looking for more. Down on the angle. That's going to be the first. Ganola. Beautiful shots, but still the trades come in for the members of Chilcord. They have all the space that they could have asked for. They know exactly where Mighty is positionally, but what they do not know is where this chamber could be with that operator waiting for this hit on towards the side of mid. But I do believe that Knight Rider is having some technical difficulty, so this is generally a 1v2 situation. But Knight Rider, hopefully he does come back, but the poor old guy is having some connection issues.
Yep. I'm stuck towards A-Link. I was, of course, surprised about the fact that why is he stuck there. But then, so technical glitch. Anyways, this is the round where the scoreline will be seeing 8-3 in favor of Chilcord. The best possible case or the best possible situation what GANGAN Galaxy can do from there is a 8-4 scoreline, which is something which they would want, considering the fact that you mentioned that your attacking side becomes much more, controlling when you have that double controller, which GANGAN Galaxy, I don't think they have that. They have only Gorang as an Omen, and sometimes Omen with only 2 dark covers. The control becomes a little difficult when you want to create spaces for your teammates to go and get that control. But on the other end, that Viper and that Clove will frustrate you when they all go on the defensive half. I think this map can get over much earlier than we think, right? Aggressive because of the situation and the kind of agent compositions we have right now. But then, of course, There's a technical ploy going on over here. Knight Rider, of course, facing connectivity issues. Once he fixes it, we'll be back with the game. But then, yeah, the question is still there. Aggressive.
I'm kind of interested to see where they're going to go with this one, especially because of the way that these executes have been going. The members
Mhm.
of GANGAN Galaxy in a lot of these rounds just are giving away so much free space to their opposition, especially when it
Yeah,
comes down to Mighty. Mighty has not really been actively taking a lot of these fights. He's generally been allowing his teammates to go in for that first line of contact, and then he swoops in to try and go in for
correct.
those trades, which is not a bad thing. Like, honestly speaking, I would say that it's okay that he's going in for plays like this because he's trying to base his overall game plan around the information that his teammates are able to give him. But that information game that they're able to get in a couple of these rounds, they're actively giving away space to their opposition, and that is not how Corrode is meant to be played. You need to be a
Hmm.
little bit more proactive in your approach, stop them
Yeah.
from getting a lot of this free space early on, and generally most of the fights have been going in the favor of Chilcord
Yeah.
because they're playing for those trades, and those trades are almost perfect in almost every single regard. Knight Rider, I do believe, as soon as he's back on the server, as soon as he's able to finally stabilize his internet, will be one of those key pieces. Like, again, I need to keep on reiterating this. If you're gonna pick up a chamber for your team, that chamber needs to find value when utilizing the op, especially on the
Exactly.
map of Karot. He is generally
Right.
your win condition. And if Knight Rider
Hmm.
doesn't perform, then your entire team's not gonna have
Hmm.
much to deal with. Mighty's playing his role perfectly, being that perfect trader, being the person to occupy any form of free space, being given away by those attackers. But if the
Yeah.
chamber doesn't opt to go in for a lot more rotations, if the chamber is not more proactive with that operator to try and fish out kills, then I don't see a world where this double sentinel composition is going to work for them, or even on the attack side, because that's when things are going to get a lot more difficult. Because those two sentinels can't really push up mid anymore. You don't have that. You don't have a clove on your side. You don't have that viper that will
Yeah.
allow you that free lurk up. Now you need to play it a lot more risky, and taking those risks as those sentinels. Other than chamber, no one else is going to be able to TP out for free. So this is going to be quite
Hmm.
difficult for them to find. But it will not be difficult for you guys to find back at home, ladies and gentlemen, is the links down below in the description and also the pinned comment on the side. Because gamers, here's the big drop for the Intel Gamer Days. Croma is now here. From the 6th of September till the 21st of September, you can grab Intel Core Power Gaming laptop starting at just 59,990 INR. This is your shot
Yep.
to upgrade without breaking the bank. Don't let the timer run out. Click on the pinned comment, and of course, head on down over onto chroma.com and lock in your deals today. Don't miss out on this opportunity because this is for a limited time. And if you want to play like the pros, and if you want to be like Venka or like Mighty and get those clutch aces, and of course be the star of the server for any tournament that we have here at the Esports Club, make sure to check out all the links down below in the description. But Oro, I'm gonna be excited if Knight Rider does get back into the server and be a little bit more proactive. But until I see that, I don't believe that Korode in any way, shape, or form is gonna be going in the favor of
Hmm.
GANGAN Galaxy.
Yeah, I mean, the position right now they are in, I think they have given away way more than they can pull back right now. And with Knight Rider not stepping up as we wanted him to, because I think the role he was given is, of course, is playing chamber on that agent. He is given a second duelist role, so he needs to be the one who can convert those op picks and get you those early fights where he was trying to be the first point of contact, and he was trying to get win those fights against Venka. But initial rounds I saw Venka, he got the better of Knight Rider and he couldn't find his way in. So that is something which is a concern right now, which they need to definitely talk about. The next up map is, of course, Bind, which is Gungan Galaxy's pick. I have seen, of course, Chilcord play previously on Bind. It's not their worst. So this is going to be interesting how Gungan Galaxy, recovers, first of all. If they're not putting up a fight on Korode after the swap happens, or right after Knight Rider reconnects and we see the last round before swap, they need to show up something. Otherwise, the kind of spot these players would put you in on bind, because that is going to be a fast-paced situation. Rotation on bind can be pretty fast because of the TPs over there. A lot of plays can be made, and I'm sure Venka would again opt for a Yoru, and he would again try to irritate you, or maybe go in for a Neon. You never know, and we might see a double duelist composition coming in as well. But knowing how Helef and these players operate, I think they will leave out Venka as a solo player. He would do his
Absolutely.
own thing, and the rest team would be that double controller, one sentinel, and Helef being on that initiator. I think Fade is something which he has been
Yeah.
pretty confident on. We have a news from the center that the match is going to resume pretty quickly. So yeah, this is going to be the last round where the swap happens. Let's see if Gangan Galaxy can pull things up.
Gonna need to see whether or not this chamber really does find value here in a couple of these rounds. I'm excited, but at the same time, a little bit on edge as well. Knight Rider, again, not really able to find the value that he would have wanted. Venka shuts down Ganola as well. Mid control already established for the members of Chilcord, and now they can play as aggressively as they want. Prowler being utilized to gain them the information, but Scar somehow he finds two players, even though three peeked into him. Techno does use a resurrection available to him to just get a little bit closer for his team, give them the space that he wants with that one ultimate. He does die in the process, but they do get the B side on top of that one. Grong now needs to be the first line of contact for his team. Take us over to a possible 1v1, sorry, 2v2 situation, but it's all up to Mighty. He's going to be the first to take the fight, but against Helef, it's just not going to work. Beautiful shot and a tap to the face to end things off. And Gorong now stuck in a 3v1 to try and equalize things out.
Oh no, he only has 5 HP to play with. He did use the paranoia, will TP out, but his position is expected. Of course, the information was laid on, and Helef, instead of using his Vandal, he opted for that shotty, which is something which we have seen all the initiators do. If you're on a Sova or a Fade, close range, better off use that shotty. Gives you that edge over your opponent. Yep. More, I think 9 out of 10 times Helef would have picked him up if there. Anyway, the scoreline is 9-3 as expected. We haven't seen much from GANGAN Galaxy to say that they would activate that curse. The players are literally going to find it difficult now on that attacking half with DC and Techno. They are going to get more control, which we are going to see, right? The first pistol round is going to be very, very crucial. They need to win this. Otherwise, they might end things up pretty quickly, Chilcord. That is something which they are looking forward to.
Let's just see where they're going to go with this one. Now, though, again, another pause has been taken, possibly by the members of GANGAN Galaxy here, just to see if Knight Rider is going to be able to get back in towards the server again with the proper setup that he generally does have. I do believe that they're having a bunch of technical issues, but there's not really much that you can do whenever you're playing as a professional player from South Asia. Technical issues is something that will plague you. Doesn't matter if you're in a boot camp, doesn't matter if you have the best internet in the entire world, even if you have the best computer. It's gonna be always difficult, but you guys can also get even better computers if you check out all the links on the description and also the pinned comment on the side, because Chroma's got you covered on Intel Core powered gaming laptops from the 6th up till the 21st of September, ladies and gentlemen. Limited time offers, so make sure to check all of that out, as we are going to be waiting for GANGAN Galaxy to sort out their things, because it's 6 rounds that separates both of these teams. 6 goddamn rounds where one mistake and double digits will now be on the cards for Chilcord. This pistol round pretty much carries the entire weight of their possible victory and, of course, their comeback. But it is going to be very difficult for them to find. Arguably, the members of Chilcord, they don't really play that well when it comes down to their pistol rounds, so this will be a saving grace for GANGAN Galaxy, but how often are they going to be able to pull this one off, though? Because there are many instances where you can tell that Chilcord as a team just are always the ones to take an initiative, because they understand that GANGAN Galaxy, they are not really that comfortable in the setup that they're trying to go for. There's too
Yeah.
many gaps in their armor. They understand that playing together as a team, just two people swinging into an angle, will make it a living hell for this chamber because he's not trying to swing into us.
Hmm.
Holding onto angles on Corrode, yeah, it's good if you have an off in your hand, but as soon as you don't, you need to be the first one to take that fight, because if you allow allow the attackers to be the ones to hold on to the angles, you're just wasting time. And
Correct.
generally you need to play a lot more for that information. The way that that double controller setup just worked out, you could tell that they were playing to the strengths. The main thing that I was
Mm,
always trying to bring up in so many of these rounds is this double controller forces the opponents to play a lot more aggressively on mid. And if you're not
mm,
really if you're not really comfortable playing those aggressive angles, you're never going to be able to take control away from those attackers. Every single round we saw that Chilcord, they just waltzed into mid, got those two kills, and was all but over. The one or two rounds that they were able to make this not happen is when the chamber played so aggressively, with the other player being towards the side of A lane. Those two positions
mhm.
collided perfectly, allowing the members of GANGAN Galaxy to take those first two opener kills. And if it wasn't for Venka
Exactly.
getting that 4K, it would have been a guaranteed round win for the members of GANGAN Galaxy. It's just that one player who
Mm,
pulled off a heroic, but those heroics will not happen every single round.
correct. Well, I mean, see, the 3 rounds which have been converted by Gungan Galaxy, out of which 2 were brilliant plays from Mighty itself. He was the main man behind those 2 picks. I think the first one was in that clutch he performed. It was a 1v2 that happened against Helef and Venka, where the spike was planted, and I think he picked. I think they were going to plant the spike towards B, and he picked both the players over there, and this is something which he has been doing. But then Ginola, I haven't seen him perform today the way he was playing on the day where the upper bracket semifinals happened. He was a different beast over there. So that is something which, of course, Gun Galaxy is missing. I said when this team does well, Gun Galaxy, they have 2 star players, and currently Ginola, neither Knight Rider are able to find the footing, which is something which they need to find really quickly. Okay, the match has started. The Viper Wall will, of course, help Techno play a lot aggressive. Now he can get a second one. Venka supports him, and Venka gets a second pick on Knight Rider as well. The relay bolt came in, but it was of no help.
Remember what I said about the Viper Wall being an absolute nuisance? This is pretty much it. You can't really take this fight. They have no flashes whatsoever, but Garong still can cause some issues if they're not careful. Paranoia in hand to go in for the fight, but he's just not going to be able to. Techno close proximity for that particular engagement, and that Paranoia just doesn't bring any form of value that they could have wanted. GANGAN Galaxy now, they're just kind of stuck because once again, no real flashes to give them any form of an advantage here. That Viper and the Euro combination is just so potent because of this very reason. You can use that Viper wall to come out of that smoke with a perfectly timed out pop flash. Without anything like that, GANGAN Galaxy, they're going into these rounds dry. And people really need to start figuring out how to play this Euro, because you can see that Venka, he's got it down to a system.
Yeah, Techno has already, given a huge amount of damage there. These wall bangable angles. Anyone playing from mid top, if he spams well, he can spam 2 players at least if somebody's trying to get control or easy access towards that mid stairs or mid area. It's not going to be easy, and it isn't. DC gets one. Oh, the Bucky finds Techno over there. But Venka was better, of course, with that outlaw. Took the trade. Numbers isn't what Gun Galaxy has right now. They have only 2 players. The good thing is they have the spike. They have got the site in control. Kohli comes in regardless. Oh my god. Why was he unarmed is the question. I mean, he wanted to be fast, but then he understood the player was spotted already from Helif's haunt. He was the only player who lost his life. Alongside, okay, actually he wasn't the only player who lost his life. They lost 2 Chilcord, but then they managed to somehow pull things up. 11th round on board. The buy round comes in for GANGAN Galaxy. And let's see how they plan things out for this one, because if they don't, it will be a match point for Chilcord.
It's probably the worst situation that you could ever be in when you're on the side of GANGAN Galaxy. That piss around just carried so much weight for them. That one Viper, that one misplay towards mid side, and just always be an absolute nuisance for you. But with the fast rush coming in from the side of Link, that's the one thing that they needed. Mighty is going to be the one to lead the charge in for the close proximity fight. The angle's pretty much his, but the shot just does not connect. Instead, it's going to be Venka to stay alive and maybe find two. Never mind, turn this one around here. Venka, he's going to be able to find the third. He's looking for more, but he's just not going to be able to find that kill. He had to go in for the reload, and now close for the fight. It's going to be already expected. Helef could not go in for that flank, but Venka, good God, if he just had a couple of more bullets, this round could have been theirs. It would have been down over to a 2v1 situation where Helef, even if he did die, it was an absolute 1v1 where Gorong's position was already revealed. There was a world where Venka did get that clutch, but in this one, just wasn't the case. You gotta love it when you see it, ladies and gentlemen. This is what the members of GANGAN Galaxy are possible of doing. But for Chilcord, if you have brilliant performances like this, if there are moments where your team is just turning up the heat like that, there's of course going to be a completely different story that we need to talk about, especially with Venka. Superstar level performances coming out from their side, but for GANGAN Galaxy, now that the buys are in their favor, this is a little bit more different. Venka still alive and kicking on the server to try and go in for a possible clutch. Kohli needs to be the first line of contact for this. Already the shots do connect. Kohli, he shuts out Mighty, who was a little bit too fast trying to go in for an engagement up against him. Helef's gonna be able to find another. Venka finds the slur ass too as well, instantly just shutting things down. This is Venka for you, ladies and gentlemen. Down over into a 3v4 situation. They still kept their cool and their calm. And you can tell that Helef just waited on the mid side because he understood that there was a player possibly coming in from the side of A-Ling. That soul lurk up just didn't work out in the way that GANGAN Galaxy wanted. And now, they're just caught out on an island. How do you turn this one back? How do you make sure that you are the ones to get how many? 8 consecutive rounds to maybe get a turnaround for themselves? This has just gone from bad to worse here, Oro, but with Mighty now with the finger gun in hand, could it just be the thing that turns it all back? Kohli on towards the mid side. He does deal the damage. Keep the ball rolling in their own court. Scars on the opposite side, still going in for those hits, and they're able to make it work. DC on the sidelines with the double. Good God, this is what they needed. Chilcord, they turn it all back. Turn back the clock pretty much, as DC still going to be the first line to take these fights. Does take a headshot for his own troubles. Tried to be over-aggressive there. But Venka still alive and kicking on his own accord. Has the dimensional drift over on the opposite side of the map. E-side still theirs. And Venka, he just needs to wait. But with mid control being established and DC being at 10 HP, this will be a very risky duel for them to take. And DC understanding it, immediately also a push on towards B main. Because he understands that, hey, as long as Venka is alive and kicking, I need to just survive and maybe inch out one kill to allow Venka enough time to go in for a rotation and take that 1v2 on his own turf.
Yep, correct. DC has only 10 HP to play with. Will Chilcord be able to pull this up? Orang with the spike, he will plant it. Chilcord. One thing for good is they have the dimensional drift activated. Knight Rider.
That's exactly what they're planning.
Okay, the dimensional drift is already used.
Oh, you didn't see him.
Okay, did he miss?
This is
Did
bad.
He missed him.
You missed him.
Yeah, exactly. He knows that somebody is towards that tower angle and Knight Rider's position is revealed. But, oh, DC managed to somehow pull up against Gorong, and Venka did it against Knight Rider. There's something always with this man. Whenever he's fighting 1v1 aim duel, 9 out of 10 times, or I think 10 out of 11 times, he is the one who wins those, and he again does it for Chilcord. Chilcord pretty easily. Have to say that they completed things up on Corrode. They go 1-0 up in this best of 3 series. Aggressive.
It's just incredible to see the way that they're generally playing out this game too. It's just my hair is a mess for this very reason. I was holding it like this because I didn't expect it to go like this at all, because this was a 2v2 situation which should have been a guaranteed round victory for the members of GANGAN Galaxy. I expected them to finally be able to get this round and snowball their lead out of control and maybe just maybe go in for a possible comeback. But it wasn't really the case because of one very particular reason. Where is your map control? Why are you playing isolated? This is a 2v2 situation. You should be the ones to play it together. They don't have a smoke. They have a goddamn Viper who just walked in from mid. You already knew where her utility was, and you still chose to isolate yourself. It's just quite questionable on what they were trying to bring onto the table for this particular round. The members of GANGAN Galaxy really not playing to their strengths or for the core fundamentals of Valorant in this particular round, and this has hurt them drastically. This first map, yes, of course, it was pick up from the members of Chilcord. I do get it, but you can't really forget how to play Valorant now, do you? Even if the map is different, that's not going to be the case. But I digress to say that, yeah, we do have the map pickup coming in from GANGAN Galaxy for the second game, which is, of course, going to be Bind. But this is going to be very difficult to see whether or not the members of GANGAN Galaxy can really turn things back and roll the clock back in their favor. Because, yeah, you had a pretty strong showing for this particular map, in some of those rounds. But on Bind, it's going to get even more difficult because knowing Venka, he's possibly going to be going onto the Raze or just keep on playing that Euro with someone else taking that mantle for that Raze instead. Double Duelist will be another point of contention for that particular map, and because of a team like PRX, almost every single team in South Asia now have started to understand that that Double Duelist composition just carries so much weight if you know how to play it well.
Yeah, true. Which is true. I mean, I agree with it. And at this point of time, it seems like that, it has to be hard fought on Bind. This the way they have placed themselves with a 4-13 score line. I mean, they literally, you said the word already. What were they trying? Only they knew, because the isolations, everything was questionable, and nothing was in their favor except for the fact that Mighty was, hitting his shots at least. That is the only positive they can take back from Corrode. And when Corrode was picked and it was not banned, I was surprised the fact that that is something which they wanted to play as well, because they had the choice of banning that map, but they didn't. So this is very interesting, because they had already seen how Rat Syndicate was taken aback by Chilcord, because they are one of the strongest team, or the favorites of qualifying for the grand finals. Yeah, if you win this game, of course you will have a chance to qualify for the grand finals, but you need to win it first. But at this point in time, the scorecard says it all. It's 4-13. Even if somebody didn't watch the game, they would know what happened up front. Venka again, not at all surprised, with 28 kills, right? Aggressive. I mean, this man comes in daily, like eat, sleep, become that top fragger in your team, dominate your opponent, and just repeat.
I thought you were gonna say he becomes Thanos, snaps his finger, and then repeats. But he literally did that, though. He just took out half the server, you snap your finger, and Venka just is going ham on everyone. That is generally how Chilcord play. Venka go kill, because everyone else just facilitated that playstyle even more. But on the opposite side of the spectrum, the members of GANGAN Galaxy just had an even more, how do you put it, a rough showing, especially when Knight Rider key was one of their primary win conditions. You would have expected the Chamber to find so much more value in a couple of those rounds, but it just didn't really seem to be the case for them. But on the map of Bind, maybe it will be a bit more different. I do believe that Knight Rider is going to be going back onto the breach to just allow Mighty to have a bit more space and, of course, a bit more utility to really play for in a couple of these rounds. But it's always going to be difficult to guess on what this team is going to do, because don't forget that GANGAN Galaxy is just a group of friends playing together on this tournament because they expected to get to that grand final stage. But to win it out, it's going to be very difficult unless you know how each other play. And of course, your all fundamentals are just on that level.
Exactly. I mean, it's going to be very, very interesting right now because the first map is, of course, done. And by the looks of it, of course, as I said, see, bind is something which everybody has game time on. So that is something Helif wouldn't be, much concerned about. The ACS is always something which you want to look when Venka is on the charts, right? With this MVP on, Corrode 395.0. I mean, that is something this player always comes up with. The way or at how easy he is doing it is what I am, not surprised. I mean, I am, you know, I have to figure, or I have to say that the way he has been doing it is very consistent on that number, and also consistency is something which he is also focusing on. So, a special player, of course, but the job is half done. He needs to deliver on another map if they have to, win it a 2-0 situation.
Yeah, for Venka, an average ACS of like 395 and an average damage per round of 230 with a 43% headshot percentage. This guy just was the face of consistency for the map of Corone. Will it be the face of consistency for the map of Bind though? That is going to be a big question mark that a lot of us are not really expecting. But we're gonna have to see whether or not we're gonna be jumping into a break or not, because apparently the players are gunning to already start up the next game. So all of these teams are pretty much up and ready to take this entire scene by storm. But for now, for the Intel Gamer Days, we are expected to go on to a short little break, ladies and gentlemen, because of how long things are taking to set up game number 2. Don't go anywhere, because you can, of course, check out the links on the description, and of course, at the pinned comment on the side if you want to check out Croma, if you want to get yourself an Intel Core Card Gaming laptop, because don't forget, this offer is going to be limited, starting from the 6th up till the 21st of September. Make sure to check out all the links on the description while you are waiting, and we're going to be heading on down over into a very short little break and a couple of words from our sponsors.
We are back after a short little break. You guys are watching Intel Gamer Days Valorant Community Cup. My name is Oro. With me on desk is Aggressive. We have witnessed the first map, of course, and what a game. Obviously, the way it ended, the Corrode map has just showcased that Chilcord is something, a team where you would not want to play that map, at least against them, because that is something they are very, very prepared about. The next map is, of course, Bind, according to Vito. So what do you think about Bind?
Yeah, Bind is going to be a very difficult one for the members of GANGAN Galaxy as well, because Chilcord on the map of Bind have proven to be a driving force throughout this entire tournament. Even when they were playing off in that qualifier stage, Bind seemed to be one of their much more favorite pickups if they did not want to go to Corrode. And knowing how Bind generally plays out and knowing how Corrode plays as well, I kind of talked about this too, right? That Corrode as a map is a mix between Bind and Ascent, because that mid side is very prominent to be an Ascent mid, but with the sights of Bind. Execution is going to be the name of the game for this, and on Bind in particular, I'm pretty sure that they're going to be again picking up on that Viper. And DC on Viper is an absolute dominant force that you have to deal with in so many of these instances. And if they're not careful in the way that they play this map, Bind just could be an easy pickup for them. But with Lotus just following up as that third map as well, there's always going to be a round where you have to worry what your opponents are going to try to do to you. But I digress. Give them a chance, give them an opportunity, and give them the platform to really play out this match proper. As GANGAN Galaxy, they're going to be the ones to pick up this Viper composition as well. This is a massive change from what they usually go for. With Knight Rider picking up on a Gecko as well, wait a minute. This is not the breach-based combination that we were hoping to see, but instead, a complete another twist where Gorong is going to be opting for that Brimstone.
On the other hand, Chilcord hasn't even decided yet that what's the composition they're going to come up with. Okay, Kohli this time is going back to where he started from. He is back on the duelist, not confirmed yet. Could be something that he's trying to, or maybe the team is trying to still decide on. Okay, Venka. Oh, okay, interesting. Oh my God, is this what we are going to see? Helef is on Yoru. Oh my God. Techno is on. Okay, I am sure that they're going to change it. I mean,
I don't think so.
This is something I still can't believe it. But oh, they have locked it. Oh my God, the controllers and the initiators have gone on to playing the duelist. This just spices things up, but this just also showcases that they might be confident. They might have prepared something which the other team won't be expecting, because Helef on a Yoru, even during VLT days, I haven't seen him playing on a Yoru, man.
Hey, give Helef the chance. I still remember there was a clip that was roaming around back a couple of years ago where Helef was saying that I'm the best duelist in the entire world, and then Deathmaker's like, no, you're not. And then they had like a friendly banter, and then they had a bet where they jumped into a game and Helef did a bottom fragging situation where he got 8 and 20. He straight up went 8 and 20, and then there was Deathmaker on an initiator that he has never played, getting like 20 to 5. So that, like, there was a situation I still remember back a couple of years ago. It was a long time ago when they were still together playing on the same team, but I miss those days, man. When I think about it, Valorant from the good old days where we had so many different teams going around, the Val Classicals that we had of GE versus VLT as well. You gotta remember those key days from back then. But again, it's just like a blast from the past, right? They're having fun. They're trying to maybe make this game a little bit more interesting, because they know that GANGAN Galaxy as a team, they are going to be capable of beating us, but the question is, how well are they going to be the ones to do it? Maybe Venka just wanted to pick up on something a bit more different as well. He's bored of playing on that duelist role, so he's giving it up to Helef, and Helef possibly could be the one to take it. Kohli on the opposite side of the spectrum, though, probably drew the short end of that stick, because he wanted to be the one to play Raze, but instead he's delegated over to the Fade, his primary role.
Yeah. Okay. Haunt. Ooh, Scar! Oh, he got dinked over there. Helef! Okay, he's not gonna take a chill pill. Of course, he's on that Euro. He has responsibility, and he has to fill in. The Viper wall will slow things up. Okay, this was risky, but then Scar, he should be the one concerned. Double controller setup. This is going to be interesting with the Brimstone and the Viper. Both the, I think, players who try to take a fight have been dinked. But this becomes difficult. They have shown presence towards a shot, and now they're going back towards the hookah area. they are probably expecting. But then GANGAN Galaxy, I'm liking the way they have gone up with that agent selection. If they are able to truly play on merit, I would like the chances. I would favor GANGAN Galaxy to win this.
It's a pretty good chance that they're going to be able to do so as well. Nate to come through already from the inside of the teleport. These paint shells can find value in these last couple of rounds, but look at the way that Chilcord have been playing. They're just trying to make them run around from multiple different sidelines. Venka's going to be good for one kill. One already spotted over from the sidelines, and Venka, regardless of whatever agent he plays, he still has the aim to make it work, but Ganola instantly taps back for two. Techno comes in strong to find out one more, as Chilcord now in a 3v2 to try and hold onto this post-plant situation. One of their players are low on HP, but even then, Kohli, regardless of this, takes those fights, takes the duel, and he just gets the kill. And an uppercut sucker punch comes in from Techno to go in for that final kill. As the 0-1 scoreline rolls around for the members of Chilcord, they start things off with a shebang here for the map of Bind. But good God, was this a very slow round for a pistol?
Yeah. I mean, they were just, I said, see, Bind is going to be pretty fast rotations coming up. You'll see those happening. And, I mean, they decided that they wanted to participate in a marathon, right? They did it twice. They went in towards B, again came back towards A. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Mighty has walked up along with Gorang. Nobody's here. They will get the information on Spot Scar. Want to execute this round fast. The thing is, the Gecko is playing hookah. If they rush in, Scar will be left out all alone. They would need some support. Just coming from back. Okay, and now Seas will... Oh, he didn't catch Scar, but Scar doesn't know. The fake out being used. He needs to spot in. He dinks one. But the thing is, he had armor. Gecko flash helping. That smoke is, of course, gonna help. Techno, he needs to be very watchful, but then the jump didn't help him. LF picks up Ganola, trades him up. Gecko is playing pretty close. DC.
What?
Wait, we need to destroy this first. Oh, this will of course give them the sound cue. Mighty is coming from long. His paint shell will give the information. He has a shotty in hand. He uses. Oh, he'll recover the Guardian, but then Kohli give him the chance to do any damage. Second round pretty quickly for Chilcord. Again, this is for the second time in this best of series where GANGAN Galaxy has started on the side which is more likely considered to be the most damaging or the most defeating side, which is the defender's half, and they have not been able to take the advantage of that with the kind of agent selection they had. I think I would be more likely wanting to support GANGAN Galaxy, but they need to prove it, right?
Just gonna need to see where they're gonna go now. Here on out, these engagements really just falls onto over on one. It's gonna be Gorang now, taking the first fight and the duel for themselves. Knight Rider on the opposite side takes down another. This is where the stronger weapons really comes in handy for them. GANGAN Galaxy pressing on the advantages in almost every single turn. Shots do rain in from their side as Helef now waiting on the opposite. Does have the Guardian to give him something, but even then, he just doesn't really have the weapons to try and take this duel. Bit risky. Venka on the sidelines looking for more frags, and he still gets the control somehow. Venka, he turns this one around. B-side drive for the picking. They do get the kills that they need. Plus Venka, now he has the ultimate online. This is going to be big for them. He just needs a little bit of an information of where these players are going to be playing, and one well-timed out annihilation, and they have the freest game that they could have asked for. This round could just be theirs, but it's all dependent on whether or not Venka hits a skill shot with this ultimate.
Oh no!
Oh.
He left it half-heartedly. Now Venka, he needs to clutch it. He will use it. Oh no! Mighty catches him through the smoke. Oh, though Gorang will be caught. But Mighty, would you say he was lucky or just Mighty being Mighty?
Or maybe he is mighty talented, you know.
Which he is. I mean, but then one thing is for sure, uh, this was a bonus buy round for Chilcord, but still, the amount of damage they did, they almost converted this, and this is something which Gun Galaxy needs to understand that, of course, even if they got the better of, Chilcord at this point of time, it was Venka again because of his aim game. He somehow brings it back, man. Somehow brings it back, and that is why until unless he is eliminated completely, that is something which Chilcord fans and Chilcord themselves believes that he might pull things up in back, in their favor.
Yeah, we're gonna need to see where they're gonna go with this one because there are multiple different instances where you could tell that Chilcord just isn't really the team that you would have expected to lose out on a round like this, but at the same time, it's just GANGAN Galaxy having those stronger weapons. It all came down to the wire, mind you. This was such an expensive round for GANGAN Galaxy to lose out on 4 of your members like this. That is going to sting a little bit here, but for GANGAN Galaxy, again, not the end of the world. They still have 2 weapons in their arsenal. I'm pretty sure that Mighty was able to save his buddy there before he did get pulled into the void, so that's completely okay. But what is the biggest surprise is the way that they almost lost out on this round. It was purely on the brilliance of Venka. I don't know how he does it. Even when he's playing an agent that he generally does not play, he's still finding value. He's still that comfortable on that particular agent. And Deadlock is not an agent that you can just pick up and play very quickly. It is an agent that requires you to have that certain level of game sense to really work out properly. Plus, with the recent changes to Deadlock as well, not so recent actually, it's been a while since changes have been added, people have started to figure out that Deadlock is easily one of the much more better sentinels in the game, right behind Vice. And I do believe that she is now toe-to-toe with Killjoy in a lot of those different maps, and even better than Cypher itself.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I know why this is something which just came up in my mind. That is the kind of agent selections the players have gone through. The process is what the kind of experience they had on Corod. They didn't get that feel that they were playing a competitive situation, so they wanted to make it difficult for themselves. So that is why I think that is the only way I think they have gone with a composition like this. I mean, I'm trying to find ways or sound like something which Chilcord wanted to do, but then I'm sure that this is something which they do not select as a agent composition during pugs. I'm 100% sure about the fact, but yeah, let's see what happens on the map of Bind, because it's going to resume really quickly.
Yep. We're going to be jumping on back in to see whether or not GANGAN Galaxy can keep the lead going in their favor, or will it be a one-stop show coming in from the new duelist players, from the members of Chilcord. Now, Helef, he's had a phenomenal performance in those first couple of rounds here because he did find the perfect openers, but now it's going to be a bit more of a difficult story for them to find. Dimensional Drift is online for the members of Chilcord, but I do believe that they should save this ultimate and wait until they do get the one pickup being the orbital strike, and then opt to go in for such a hit, but instead Helef, he's just going to be trying to run in for it for body blocks. A little bit funny, but hey, that's completely fine. Wait a minute, over from the sidelines, Helef already gets the first initial catch, immediately TP's back out using the gate crash too. Now, a little bit of a tough scenario for them to call here with Venka's perfect lineup utilized to completely block off the defenders from going in for any form of rotation. And as soon as the guns roll around, you can tell that GANGAN Galaxy, they have no chance to try and survive here.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. He will... it was Kohli. I mean, there was a competition going between Helef and Kohli that who would get the pick. But then it was Kohli who got the better off player over there. I thought Helef came in with a shotgun, but then he had a vandal. Okay, interesting. But at this point of time, Gorang was literally, was it Gorang or that was the fade on GANGAN Galaxy side? I think that was a fade on GANGAN Galaxy side, who was like, in Hindi we say tarpaud for his spot. He was literally jumping on that spot. He couldn't find a spot for himself. It's gonna be fast towards Shaz. You know that this is an eco. Mighty. Through the nade. Gorong has pushed in, but then it wasn't for any benefit. He got taken out by DC. Or I should say a Brim diff.
I mean, he wanted to be a little bit aggressive, but that aggression almost gets countered instantly. Ganola on the opposite side of this still opts to go in for a couple of pop shots off his own. Needs to be close on the angle here. A little bit of a difficult position for them to play as GANGAN Galaxy now. Needs to try and stabilize even further. A couple of good kills for them is going to be a necessity, but up against Venka, those are difficult. Scar, regardless, finds the tap that he wanted. DC looking for another. Angle's perfect. And now with the swing, the flash comes across. They're going to try to hunt him down, but Scar not going to be giving any of that up for free. DC immediately gets this 4K for himself, and the overall strike is now online. They need to try and maybe get this dimensional drift up first before they utilize this overall strike just yet. But then again, like Helen just used it 2 rounds ago, so I don't think he's going to be getting it anytime soon. So how will this execute look for the showstopper and, of course, the overall strike here? Because that's where the real game plan is going to be lying for the members of Chilcord to win out on this following round.
Yep, this is that for sure. Okay, Knight Rider is going to peek with the vibe. Okay, he's gonna hold close. It's gonna be interesting. Why? And that too without the flash. Mighty has closed in, but Techno has already created value. He misses the showstopper. He's on 7 HP. Exactly my point. What was Knight Rider's plan first of all? And even if the showstopper was committed on A shot, why would you want to push? At least get the information. You have the gecko. You are the gecko. You can use the abilities which are given for a reason. I'm very clueless on how GANGAN Galaxy wants to play this, because this is their map pick, right? If this is something how they want to play things out, Chilcord is just gonna make it more difficult for them.
This is going to be interesting. See where they're going to go with this one as Scar. Just waiting to see what he can get away with. Couple of good shots here already being taken. LF, he had a Vandal in his hands and he tried to go in for that spam. He's going to pay for it with his own life. Scar, perfect tracking out the Tracer and also good crosshair placement to go in for that kill too. Beautifully done as LF takes the back seat. That Euro is not going to be finding any form of an entry this time around. So you can tell the GANGAN Galaxy, they found their saving grace and they possibly found a weapon for themselves as well, depending on whether or not they can easily go in for such a hit. Scar, beautiful aim coming out from him in almost each and every regard. The weapon, though, immediately fell into the teleporter, so they actually need to go in for a rotation instead. They do find one weapon as an initial pickup, but still, look at the positioning coming in from Venka from the other side. They do get the entries that they wanted. DC on the opposite end of the map needs to try and instantly go in for a rotation, but instead DC is just going to keep on going in for the fight. Venka, they find the plant and they've worked the map out in their own turf. And poor old Ganola, none the wiser, doesn't know the angle that he should be expecting. And instead it will be Techno to shut him down. 1-6 on the scorecards, ladies and gentlemen. And this was the expected play that I was talking about from this team when we first saw this happen. GANGAN Galaxy just doesn't really have it in them to win this particular map. If they had a little bit more of a better showing on Corrode, I would say that, yeah, they do have an opportunity to take us over onto the third map. But after all the mistakes I witnessed, Vine is going to be very difficult for them on this defensive side.
Yeah, which is true. Gorang is holding an aggressive angle. Knight Rider is also holding hookah this time, but then he doesn't have any support. Obviously, the boombot will give out his positioning. Grafnet is stuck. No, it's a trap.
Oh, wait, no.
But then the corner, they missed out the corner. And I think he knows that. That's why he came in. But Venka and Techno came in and cleared it out. The Molotov, he stepped on his own Molotov. Okay, I mean, They're only making things difficult for themselves, Gun Galaxy. But then they should knew that if you're playing close quarter angles, orbital strike is something which you might find out. I think the Brimstone, DC, it was. He missed out that corner. Otherwise, he would have fried him right there.
I think he was a little bit more worried about the player on the right side, because if he didn't really use the orbital strike on towards the right a little bit more, then there was a good chance someone might instantly come in and trade the guy before that they were ready to try and take that duel. He, of course, has that Molotov in his hands to just toss it out in the perfect angle, but for Mighty, it's another perfect angle for him. Just sitting inside of the spawn, just surviving now with the 2 weapons. They don't want to give much of it away. Venga. Risky duel, but for Mighty, if he did fall there, that's another big weapon that would have been taken off of the table. They are going to be able to come into this round with 2 strong weapons to at least make this eco a bit more better. Okay, no, never mind. It will not be an eco with 4 people able to go in for proper buys, with Grong now picking up the Guardian in his hands. Now, back to the point that I was trying to make. The fact that Chilcord was able to win this was purely on the basis of, hey, Knight Rider, he was just playing for information. And playing for information in a situation like this up against Deadlock is just so difficult. You can see that the proper conjunction of utility is where the real strength of this team just lies. Similarly of these engagements does come on for something like that. Already the push does come in. Scar's going to be able to jump in through the teleporter to instantly go in for those 2 kills. Ganola now looking for more. Isolated on a fight. He's still going to be able to find value. Helef on the sidelines, but it's not going to be enough to take that kill. Instead, it's going to be Ganola with the movement to come in for that triple kill. 2-7 on the scoreline now, ladies and gentlemen. It's Chilcord. They've showcased that they can bleed, but for GANGAN Galaxy, that last round was a well-played out strategy.
Yeah, true. I mean, they played well. Scar was the star fragger, and Ginola just came in with the clean sweep. A very rare miss from Helef. He has been pretty precise on his aim game, and even DC. I mean, see, we focus so much on Venka that we miss out on good players like Techno, DC, and Helef, of course. We all know that how these players are. Okay, the Haunt has been pretty good. There's position spotted. Venka cleans Mighty over there. Ginola, Techno with a showstopper. We won't miss. Gorang goes out. One player who's out from the showers. It's Helef. This time he won't miss. He gets both Knight Rider and Scar. And the 8th round is on board.
Another thing that we don't talk about too is like, think about the way that the utility is being utilized. Like, I think you noticed that too, right? That the Haunt was thrown at the perfect time, and then Helef immediately flashed. Like, it's been like a recurring theme, right, in every single one of these rounds. Think about it. GANGAN Galaxy, the way that they're utilizing their utility, on the opposite side, the way that Chilcord are doing it. GANGAN Galaxy, in some rounds, they're using their utility in proper conjunction with one another, but Chilcord are doing it in every single goddamn round. I don't think I've seen a single round where they have mistimed their utility.
Oh, it's a flash.
Maybe this Mighty God. Just as soon as I say it. Just as soon as I say it, right? It's like that caster's curse just always comes alive when I don't want it to happen.
Listen, people don't anyways like us, okay? Even if you don't say it, they'll have some point to mark things out. But anyways, with that being said, we can say the fact. Okay, Gorang, he tried his best, but Kohli this time gets the pair of Gorang over there. Players rotating. It's Knight Rider and Scar, the 2 B players coming in late. Ooh, Kohli, the 3rd pick. He comes in with the 3rd pick. Scar has nothing to do. Of course, Kohli wants to get the 4th one. Okay.
Okay, he's gonna do the 1 bullet.
Yeah, try it. No. He's gonna get slapped. Venka! Can he get Scar? Oh, Scar gets the 2nd one. Scar will recover gun. He had his fun. Easy.
God.
I mean,
just see, Mighty should have. Like, why?
I think aggressive. You said everything correct. It was a mistake. It was a mistake on the part of Techno. Why did he use his satchel before the flash came in? He could have waited.
Yeah. Like, that's kind of the thing, right? I talk about the utility usage being so perfect, and then they do stuff like this. I mean, they are feeling overconfident, right? So on a
Yeah.
2-9 scoreline, you're gonna make mistakes like this. Possible 93 that they could be worried about, but it seems as though Techno. Wait a minute, he's diving
Oh
inside of the Viper
no.
Spit and he gets 2 kills. Wait, what?
B side is clear. It's open, wide open.
He just ran in to a Viper Spit and he found 2 players. I can't make sense of that. Helef threw away his life. That's completely fine because B is now completely open. They're gonna make an instant rotation and they give like no 2 damns on what's gonna happen next.
Yeah, correct. Exactly. I mean, Helef. Oh, Venka is the lurker now. He's not a duelist. He's still doing it for his team. Techno gets the 4th frag in this round. Every round there's someone who's stepping up and just making things happen. Goodness me, I didn't know that Venka could do this. I thought he would be a fragging duelist, but then he's a lurking sentinel as well. So he's a special player. He has that talent in him also. He can be triggered. He can show his that he is patient enough. He has that trigger discipline game going on. He's not doing bad at all. He has 10 frags on that deadlock.
So many of these rounds really just come down to him performing. These performances from these players are just so beautiful to watch.
No flash.
See, oh, this is gonna be a little bit difficult if you're not careful. Mighty though, now waiting to see what he can get away with. Does have the Molotov in
Frenzy.
the close proximity fight, but immediately this Frenzy in these close proximity duels are just so much better to have. Scar does have the Sheriff in hand to just go in for a couple of good body shot kills from his own accord, but even then, with so much of the information already being given away that there's no one present on this side of the map, it's now Helef's turn to really be that first line of contact for his team. 4v3 now. GANGAN Galaxy, they need one more kill to try and equalize things out and make this round a little bit more difficult for the members of Chilcord to try and hold on to. But with Venka anchoring onto that B side, you don't want to deal with this player. Maybe you do, because Venka is going to be the first one to miss out on the shot. Has the grab net ready to toss in at any second with Kohli. Perfectly timed out lurk. They're not going to be expecting him. They're still executing onto the side. Both players none the wiser for it. Shots missed. Kohli risky. He missed the shot on the first, but he's not going to be missing out on the last.
Yeah.
Already spotted and killed. It's going to be the 11th on the board for the members of Chilcord. GANGAN Galaxy, they had the chance, but they fumbled it pretty hard.
True. They did. But Kohli recovered well. I mean, he was confused between knifing or, just doing it with that ghost. But yeah, this is a good plan, right? He used his smoke, then his Molotov, then he had a frenzy in his hand. He had a plan that if somebody rushes, what he needs to do. It doesn't have to always be with a shotty or a shotgun. Oh no, is he really gonna do this? He has the Odin. I mean, okay. But anyways, not in a situation where they can, create any kind of advantage. This time he has a Bucky. Helef. Marshall. Oh, DC with the second one. He can get the third one as well. He gets the third one. He will. Okay. Star only good for one. DC with the fourth one. Goodness me. These guys are fighting among themselves for frags.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the game of Valorant, where Chilcord is the server admins. And honestly speaking, this is not a show of Venka only, because he is on that sentinel role, but every single player from their team is stepping up to the max. As GANGAN Galaxy, yeah, they are going to be losing out on the upper brackets, but then again, not really the end of the world, because they're still going to have a slight bit of a chance, but even then, there's like nothing to really talk about, right? Because if they do lose here, they have that lower bracket run, because don't forget, on that lower bracket, they're going to be able to turn it all around. But this is the one-way ticket towards that grand final stage, because the upper bracket grand finals, yeah, it's going to end, but the lower bracket one is going to be happening after tomorrow to see who is going to be the team to make it onto that grand final stage. But even then, this squad of Chilcord is just so difficult to break into. Finally, we do see a slight bit of a change happening as GANGAN Galaxy are back in the advantage, but still 3 players alive and Venka still on the server. There's a lot more to be worried about here. Because finally, we do see signs of life coming in from GANGAN Galaxy, but is it a little bit too little too late? Because still, Chilcord, they're on the weaker buys and somehow they're making it work.
Yeah. Ready with the clear the wrong angle. No, no, he gets the second one, gonna get the third one. No, Gorang was better, but then DC has made something possible that they might win the game right here, right now. They don't know that Helif is sitting right there. He will spam through the smoke. Viper wall comes in again. Uses the flash, but Scar has in towards Lamp, and he will find Helif. There is a rotation coming in, and he's coming through Shahs. The question is, will he pick up his gun? The gun is there. His position is revealed. Gorang needs to run back in. He has swapped his gun. Okay. Grabnet being used, but Gorang had DC's Bucky. And he slapped him. Okay, 12-3. We have few rounds left, if not one. But DC, this guy
Round at that. Yeah, he didn't really expect a third player to be in that exact position too. Expected the other one to be towards A short maybe, but these couple of rounds have been quite interesting to say the very least. As what I didn't really understand is why Helif even went in for a couple of spam shots there with the Sheriff. If he just waited, they would not have known his exact position. It could have been better for them. Helif, good God. He just gets slapped down. Gorang, the fire's been lit under him because GANGAN Galaxy, they know that their tournament lives, not really on the line, but their upper bracket runs lives are on the line here. Still has a chance to maybe turn this one around, but not really going to be the reality. Wait a second, they actually invested an ultimate into this round. Wait, what? DC? Wait, I don't get it. Why did you invest in Orbital Strike here?
I mean, oh, what? What?
What?
Kohli? Oh my God. You know, Scar is of course ready. His position is revealed now. No way! Oh God. If Scar would have missed out and Kohli would have connected, it would have been good night, of course. But then, aggressive, you used the word, right? Of course, they're pretty overconfident. And that is why things are happening like this. I think if they would have...
Yeah, but you invest in Orbital Strike?
Yeah, I mean...
That's too much.
It's Chilcord. It's Chilcord we're talking about. They will say, aggressive, take a chill. It's in our name. Let's look at how things go now in this round. Yeah.
At least you're proud about it. But what the members of GANGAN Galaxy are not getting proud about is what happened in that last round. Yeah, they did get the round win, but they lost out on some of their members. Now with the guns coming in the hands of Kohli and of course the others, Venka's gonna be able to find that double kill almost simultaneously. Looking for more. Flash does come in, but even then it's just not gonna help. Scar's gonna be the one to take out Techno, but even then, they're just trying to do damage control at this point of the game. Knight Rider's position revealed and ready. Kohli missed out on those shots, but that's completely fine and dandy because he is able to recover. As for now, GANGAN Galaxy picking up those fallen pieces will be none other than Scar down in a 4v goddamn 1 situation on a 4-12 scoreline. No more second chances, no more nothing. They block off the Euro clone, but Helif instantly turns around and gets that final frag off. 4-13, ladies and gentlemen, as Chilcord, they had the fun that they wanted on the server. They completely switched out their roles, but at the end of the day, they are still able to win it.
Exactly aggressive, and that is why I said once they lose out on that 2 round with those kind of movements, you'll see them getting serious in the third round. See, you saw Venka; he took it upon himself. He got the third one. I think third one was, of course. Now with Venka, we shouldn't be surprised with being flashed or not flashed. He spots them or not spots them with the flick, with not a flick. He just connects every time. It's so much obvious now with that man, and they just finish things off in style. The scoreline, of course, says 13-4. What happened on Korod was similar, a 13-4. I mean, they just were the better team by far. They were not even, given a chance where they had to think for Chilcord.
Yeah, that was just the unfortunate reality whenever you're playing a game of Valorant now, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Always you have to worry about whether or not your opponents are gonna beat you down over to a crawl, and it seems as though the members of Chilcord, they did the exact same and take that one-way ticket towards that grand finals. But for the members of GANGAN Galaxy, it's not over just yet. They still have a chance to get to that grand final stage as well. They're down in the lower bracket grand finals, so there's still a chance for them to try and make a turnaround point. But who will be joining them for that next round? Will it be Team Asterisk, or will it be their opposition? That's what I'm really excited to see here, because today's games have a lot in store for us. We don't really know what to expect just yet, because Rat Syndicate have proven to be a squad that can really turn things around when it is necessary. But up against Asterisk, it's just... It's a very tough call, because Asterisk does have Antidote as the coach on their team, and of course star level players that really do know how to turn around games. But looking at the scoreboard here too, ladies and gentlemen, GANGAN Galaxy, they also have their work cut out for them, because the two teams that did take the bow down here took the bow down to Chilcord. And you can see exactly why. Looking at the scorecards too, Scar had a phenomenal performance, going 17-13, but Knight Rider just kind of fell short. He's not been having the performances that we know him to have. 2-17 on a Gecko, he just felt like a fish out of water, didn't really know how to set up his team or set up himself for victory.
Exactly. There's nothing much we can dissect about the scorecard, of course, but then there were some individual performances, but Techno was the MVP. So Techno would be proud of this. He said that, let me play the Raze or the Duelist, at least for this map. And he got it, and he delivered with 20 frags, and he delivered it superbly. Even though, it felt like that the whole team was having fun, but the MVP of the match is again this man, Venka. He popped up again. Regardless, he plays a Deadlock or a Yoru. This man just showcases why he is so consistent.
He has an average damage per round of 184 Oro.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire 2 maps, he guaranteed a kill every single goddamn round, utilizing utility. And mind you, he wasn't really playing an agent like Raze who can guarantee damage every single round. So stuff like this is insane to see coming out from a player of his caliber. If you want to be insane, just like Venka, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out all the links down below in the description. And of course, the pinned comment on the side, because in the celebration of the Intel Gamer Days, Croma has landed. From the 6th of September to the 21st, you can grab yourself an Intel Core Power Gaming laptop starting at just 59,990 INR. This is your shot to get an upgrade without breaking the bank. Don't let the timer run out. Click, of course, on that pinned comment to go and check out Croma and lock in your deals, because here at the Intel Gamer Days, we are giving you as many opportunities as you possibly can to get yourself onto the server as well. Get to grinding, get to playing, and of course, make sure to hit that like, hit that notification bell down below, and of course, hit that subscribe button as well to get notified when we do go live, because the lower bracket grand finals, and of course, still one more of the lower bracket runs are still to be had, with Rat Syndicate going up against Asterisk. That game will be quite the interesting affair, possibly going onto all 3 maps. And if you don't want to miss any of that, make sure to click all the buttons down below. But for now, it's going to be your boy Aggressive with Oro on my side signing on off, and we're going to be back with you for the next stream for the Intel Gamer Days Valorant Community Cup.